Hello, everybody. I didn't get my little notification. Oh, now I'm getting the notification that I'm on. I wasn't getting the notification earlier that I was on. So, blessings to everybody, bringing so much love to everybody today. Yeah, and I'm going to apologize. I still haven't found my piece to my mic. It's sitting over there. There's just one little cord, and I could have swore I put everything in together, but it could have been one of those things I just put on my desktop and then put that into another box, which, this eventually will be unpacked one day. Who knows? Oh, well. Um, Crazy energy today. I was a couple things and just, get your guys' input. Y'all know that I'm working outside the house, right? And where I work, they do a 3-week schedule. So they do the schedules 3 weeks in advance. Things can change on the schedule and things like that. But I asked for a certain day off, and that's because I have to take Steve to Foothills to get his this is what my kids are calling it. You know how Iron Man has had the thing put in his heart? So they're calling their dad Iron Man. It's like, because you can, where they put the pacer in, you can kind of see it. It's sort of, it's not hidden. You know that there's something underneath the skin there. You can sort of see it. So the kids are, my two youngest ones. I mean, they're adults, right? They're adults, but they're like, oh, that's cool. Dad's Iron Man now. So he has to go get, the little checkup done on his pacemaker. So he had it done in May, June, July. Wow, shit. It's August. Or it's coming into August that he has to go and get that checked out. So just to make sure everything's going well. But anyways, I asked for that day off. And I asked for another day off because Andrea is having a market, an afternoon or evening market. And I'll be at that. But that wasn't till the afternoon. Like, it's not till I think 3 o'clock or something. Anyways, so they didn't schedule me for the whole week. And I find that odd. I know I have to go in there and talk to them and stuff and say, hey, I'm not scheduled for the week. Why aren't I scheduled for the week? Is there not any hours, or you're not training me in some other places? Now, here's the thing. Is this, as I look at my life and I look at the things I do, being a sign of the universe, is this, trying to tell me that, okay, maybe my focus shouldn't be on work? But it's kind of where you get into that fear factor. Now, this is part of, manifesting. And I've been changing a lot. If you haven't heard of Marie Diamond, I've been listening to a few of her. And it's funny, I was seeing tubular energy coming in, and I was drawn to Marie, and I was drawn to her, and her meditations are on meditations and tubes. Okay, so that's sort of like the synchronicities within my life, right? Things happen for certain reasons. Things unfold, and I get aligned with different energies. Just like I was looking for new forms of meditation to go deeper into meditations and tap more into my brain. And of course I'm getting into the alpha, theta, and the delta waves, right? And the different hertz, and working with the different hertz of energy with the brain waves. So anyways, going back to my discovery, to find out that, I have this whole week off. Like, I didn't ask for that whole week off. But then this is where, certain synchronicities are great, right? You're just like, yeah, I love that. But then certain synchronicities that happen in your life, and you're like, no, I don't like that. It's not, you want to it's like you're wanting to create abundance, but then you find that there's this obstacle or block. Now we're coming up to this new moon in Leo. And so this is a fabulous manifesting moon, right? So Leo, let's get over our blocks. So this is where it's like, holy shit. Now, I work for 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you probably will not hear from me for those 3 days, except for little blurps on that I write up. But then I have Sunday till next Tuesday off, or Saturday till next Tuesday off, or something like that. Something crazy like that. So I have another 4 or 5 days off. But this is where coming into the manifestation of creating abundance and not being fearful of creating it. This is like, whoa. And then I'm looking at the astrology for the day. I just get, this is like, there's 2 of the biggest events this week. Mercury squaring Mars, which is not a fun, it's just not fun. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. And Uranus conjuncting the North Node, the nodes of destiny. And Mars and Uranus are activating and can manifest often in the immediate ways. So to the point that, I've tracked my own Uranus transits and Mars transits, and sometimes the exact minute, meaning when the transit is exact, something precisely at that moment happens. Because both Mars and Uranus and Mercury, when involved with either, can be accident prone and aggressive. So please be extra aware if you're traveling. So anybody who's traveling, communications and more. So this is not meant to put fear into you, but simply to bring a greater understanding and awareness and to the astrological currents present right now. Now my Uranus, and for those from about 61 to I think 67, 68, have Uranus in Virgo. So we're in kind of a trine to our Uranus, which is kind of nice. There's harmonious energy that's going on there from Earth to Earth, yet your Uranus may be mutable. Like it's mutable. So it could be, directionary all over the place. Plus you probably have your Pluto in the Virgo. So just joys. Your Pluto wouldn't have moved till later on, which is a whole nother kettle of fish, with your Pluto in Virgo. So there's a whole generation there. So this is where communication. So this is not, as I say, not a fear thing, but astrology is like cosmic weather. It is pouring rain, out, you bring an umbrella, right? If there's a tornado, maybe you don't leave your house, but instead you go into the bunker, you go into the basement. Astrology shows you the weather patterns so that you can be prepared. And it's not about fear, it's about being prepared. That's why I do what I do, because I look at the astrology and I say, hey, maybe you should prepare on these things. And I know I'm getting a lot of flack. Some people are like, well, look at the gas prices now. And I'm like, yeah, I am looking at the gas prices. I'm like, enjoy this, baby. Enjoy this. Enjoy what's going on. Because if you're not paying any attention to what's going on with Saudi Arabia or with Russia or with Iran or any of them over there, that's perfectly okay. I mean, you don't have to. I pay attention to the astrology and what it tells me, and where I can see where, especially when we have energies with uranium and plutonium. So if anybody has uranium stocks, maybe look into them. I don't know. I'm just saying, might be a good thing to be aware of. So we have this energy with uranium and the energy of destiny, which is the North Node. So if your North Node in your chart is what you are destined to do in this lifetime, what you have to work on. It's your one of your karmic marks. And this week, one with with this mean node today, one with the true node, especially the Sunday afternoon and all this week, this energy presents, and it can be fun to explore the differences in the nodes by paying attention to today versus Sunday, and also keep in mind that Mars triggers all three. So Mars is a trigger. I mean, he's a go-getter. He wants to get out there. He wants to do things. He wants to get going. So when I'm when I'm looking at my schedule, and this is where I start to look at, and like, what's triggering me with this? Of course, it's financial and the worry about financials, because it's kind of nice having that extra money come in per week. Since Steve isn't working and there's a kerfuffle with other things there's always a kerfuffle. There's always some kind of kerfuffle. That's my new word, kerfuffle. That's going on for him and EI. So this is where, especially with this energy, is looking at what I want to start to activate. What I want to start to work towards. Now with Uranus, of course, it's erratic and you don't know. But the thing is that if you allow yourself to come into the energy, come into the flow of it, and stir and work with it, bringing in opportunities, bringing in greatness. So, okay, you guys are like, she's all over the place today. Hopefully you're following my flow. So hence, me in a meditation, feeling the energies of the tubular energies that were coming in, getting aligned with Marie. Marie started bringing in different, because she works with feng shui too. So it's funny, feng shui is coming back into my life. And I'm not a feng shui expert by any means. But her looking at this energy that's coming in, and wrapping the tubes with the different colors. And the way that she sees the colors, right? So bringing in different colors in for protection, for creativity, for your alignment. And also understanding the flow of the energy within your home, which is important. And one of the big things for her is decluttering. And I know I've mentioned that many times to everybody about, what areas in your house that you have to declutter. And bring forth, especially your front door, looking at things at your entranceway. I make sure that, as you're coming down the stairs into our suite, everything is clear, it's clean, it looks good, right? So this is very important to start to look at these types of things. So I'm being more conscious of the pictures I'm putting up. Are they pictures of abundance and love and joy, or are they pictures that are the opposite to that? So this is what I feel like, even with this energy that it's pulling, is like, because Uranus North Node energy is a strong present. So looking at this strong presence within this energy of the direction you want to create, and especially in Taurus. So you look at Taurus energy and you look at Leo energy. So Leo's the heart. Leo wants to get out there. Leo wants to present things. It wants to see things. And Venus being in Cancer, it's very yummy. She wants to, it's like putting on a cold day and having that beautiful, luxurious coat put on you and keeping you warm, or that beautiful blanket put around you. That's what Venus wants to do. And then with the Taurus energy, it's like, what is that stability in an unstable world that you want to create? Because the world is unstable. There's craziness happening everywhere, from our government in Canada to the government in the United States to governments all over the world. There's this instability within the farming community and our food supply. So looking at, there's instability, and Uranus is bringing forth the instability. So what is that within the instability that you want to create your stability, and not get hung up in the narrative? So with that Mercury square, so Mercury is triggering the whole configuration this week, starting with Mars today. And on Thursday, he squares Uranus in the North Node. And on Sunday, he opposes Saturn in Mercury. Saturn, opposes Saturn and Mercury. It's also a trigger planet. So we got all of these triggers happening. All of these things that are triggering. And he is not just triggering Mars in the North Node and Uranus alignment, but he's also triggering the separating of Saturn and Uranus square. Now, those squares from the last year are technically over, but in mid-September, they really come close again. The other part that I think is really crazy is that Saturn and Uranus have not fully, or Saturn and Pluto have not fully separated, even though that they're in different signs. They're not like how Jupiter just like, fuck you, I'm out of here. They're still within this orb of energy, right? And Pluto is, wanting, Pluto and Saturn together. Yeah, they cause, a lot of crazy energy. We've seen it in the last 2.5 years. What are those changes? And they're still happening. Like Saturn still wants order. Saturn still wants to bring forth the old paradigm, right? And have that dominance. And Pluto's bringing up a lot of things that don't work within that old paradigm. So again, instability. So this is intense territory that we're in, but it can also be fruitful for inner work. That's where I'm going back to my schedule, okay? And I'm using me as an example. So look into your life, what's not working, or what is throwing you off, or what kind of curveball came in. So this curveball of not having a schedule for that week, and usually in my past experiences, when you don't get a schedule for a week, usually means you're let go of or something else happens. But I'm scheduled for this week and the first week of August. Anyways, it's the third week, second week of August. I'm not scheduled. But this is where you start to look in, okay, what is my inner work, my shadow work? Letting go of an old paradigm and remembering the dominance of the square of Saturn and Uranus. And this year, Uranus is on the North Node. So Uranus wins. Change, rebellion, revolution, shift. It's all possible. So this is where we just have to break out of our addictions to this complacency, the status quo, and to safety and security at the expense of change. Wow, that's a lot. Now, what does that mean? So if we look at, we want change, but we don't want to disrupt our world. We want change. We want to bring forth the abundance and prosperity. We want to bring in better health. We want to bring in, great relationships within our life. Not only with our significant other, but with those around us. It could be our children, it could be our parents, our grandparents, it could be our neighbors, it could be the co-workers that we work with, it could be our friends. We want to bring in a very beautiful, relationships with all of this, right? And in this, we have to, sometimes within those relationships, there is a discussion that needs to happen. Where you have to really look at things, and as you look at them, really understand that, hey, I need to step forward in my life in a more positive way. And sometimes that means that others may not like it, or I need to take control over a financial energy in order for me to get to a destination. And in doing that is going to cause others in my life maybe not to feel good, or for me not to feel good. That's the other part. So we got to look at it. So this Taurus part of your chart is where you need to embrace the change. Now, If you're not sure what that looks like, we will bring up an example. And of course, the example will be my own chart. And this is why, hey, I got a sale on right now. My readings are $99. And this is like, okay, you want to embrace the Taurus in your chart. And I'll bring up the means. And we'll just bring up the transits right now. So what does that mean? Bear with me all. I want to share a window. What window? No, not window. A Chrome tab. That's what I want to do. Okay, there we go. So we have here a chart. So we have here, this is Taurus over here. So what is Taurus activating within this chart? So you go through, and in here the numbers, this is first house, second house, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You get the picture. So it's activating 11th house. So that house is activated. And within that activation, what it does is like, what is it? Where is that energy being thrown to? So the energy across the street here is being thrown to everything in the 5th house. 6th house is opposite over here. So we have this energy, and here's Mars, here's Uranus, and here's the North Node. This is what the North Node looks like. This is what the South Node looks like. So it's also activating everything of the South Node. So the Scorpio activation is happening at this time as well. And if we go in and we look at the degree of where these guys are at right now, which would be, 14 degrees? 18 degrees. 18 degrees, so about 18 degrees. These are being activated at. So we look at what else is being activated in your chart. So I have my Neptune is going to be activated. I'm going to have, it's coming close to my Mercury is being activated as well. So take a look at that, right? So you take a look at what that looks like in your chart, right? And then begin to set, okay, what does the 11th house mean? All right. And if you've taken any of my classes, I've talked about this before. We've gone through the different houses, but maybe you forget. So you know what? We got Google. So you can Google it out and you can say 11th, if I can spell it. '11th house astrology. So 11th house has to do, so there's an activation with friendship, groups, idealism, because it's ruled by Aquarius. It's ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius is the 11th house, which is kind of good. I mean, I'm thinking about, okay, that's kind of a good thing because Uranus is home in that 11th house in my chart. And this is coming in with, of course, the relationship to the collective. So if you've got, one or two planets in this house, this chart, don't be surprised if these themes are driving into your life. So when I look at this is telling me that there's something there that is going to come about groups and relationships, idealism and hope is coming in with that energy. How is that showing up in my life? So I look at, okay, I'm going back to my schedule. I was hoping I'd have a great schedule, everything would start increasing. Well, it's not. So Uranus is activating something there that I really need to look into more so with my stability and seeing what that stability is. What does that mean to me? And So this comes into about, the society. This comes into social circles. What do I need to activate more within my life? And look at that, those types of things, right? Now, your Uranus or your Taurus house might be different. So it's starting to look at those different houses and what they mean. And and as you look at what they mean, you start to say, okay, this is, is this being disrupted in my life? Okay. Does this make sense to you guys? I hope so. So, and as I say, astrology is like the weather. So it's letting you know, what do you need to be prepared for? What do you need to look out for? More so. So let's say it's the 12th house, right? And the 12th house is the house of secrets. It's Pisces. It is that labyrinth kind of energy. So it's about your fears and psychological fears. So if your Taurus is in your 12th house, then you got to look at what you're being fearful of, what's going on there. And especially with Mars and Uranus there, it's probably disrupting a lot of things that are going on in your life. And even since Uranus came into that house. So, this could be where you are, finding things of your weakness and things that are going on. So take a look at that, because that's a huge activation that's happening, and it's from now to August 1st, right? And Mercury could bring in a lot of overstimulation of you overthinking things in your life. And Mars is like, okay, what are you going to do about it? I got to get going. And Mercury's like, yeah, look at this. And then Uranus comes in, and disrupts it all and says, no, we're going to go this way. And you're just like, holy fuck, how can I go that way? So a lot of impulsiveness, intrusiveness can come in with the 12th house, right? So we take a look at each of the houses and where your energy is within that house and what is being activated. The other thing is also look at where other planets are in your chart at about 18 degrees, 19 degrees, and those planets will be also activated as well within your chart. So you start to look at anything. So with 18 and 19 degree, and I would use at least a 3-degree orb on either side, of that energy. So when I go back to my chart, I can see that, 18 degrees. So my Neptune's being activated, my Saturn's being activated. Those are big things that are going to be activated at this time. So what is Saturn? What is Saturn? Saturn is, bringing forth, structure. What house is it in? That's why I love astrology, because you can get in so deep and find out so many different things, and that can aid you in helping you to work through things, helping you to work through what needs to get looked at in your life, or something that you might have been ignoring. So this energy that's coming in is an activation of having you really look at things in greater detail in your life, and things that are working and not working. Hope that helps you. So I'm going to pull out some cards. That's what I was just told to do. So let's pull out some cards to see. These are my fairy cards. Don't want to use my fairy cards. Fairy cards or angel cards? Oh, my other fairy tarot cards. 1 second. Let me grab them. My fairy tarot cards. So I have the fairy tarot cards. And I will use the other cards too. I'll use both. Because this is the other fake deck I have. So let's take a look. Now, if you don't have, there's so many places you can get your chart for free. One of the things about you having your chart is not only knowing the day you're born, so hopefully you know that, the place that you're born, the city that you're born in, and time. So finding out your time. Now, if you don't know what your time is, sometimes you might have to do some digging. If you're, maybe your mother doesn't remember. She had too many children. She just doesn't remember those things. Or it's not on your birth certificate. Usually, it's recorded somewhere. Like there's usually health records and stuff like that have a record of your time of birth. So I made such a good cup of coffee today. It's my second cup. So let's take a look and let's sort of look at the energies for today. So what is what's coming up for us that we have to look at? The King of Winter. So the King of Swords. You got to be unemotional. King of Swords is unemotional. So get advice if you need advice. My sale's on. No. So get advice. If you need advice to be objective in the direction that you need to go through. And that's what the King of Swords does, or the King of Winter. He does. He wants to he wants to be knowledgeable. He wants to be objective, right? He's very good at public speaking. So he wants to be objective with what he wants, and what he's doing. And in being that way, it's like having, not getting hung up on the emotions of it all. So when we look at Uranus rules Aquarius. Aquarius is the I know. When we work with air energies are, I'm not going to say they're unemotional. They're a very emotional energy, but they're direct. They're matter of fact. They're going to give you the information. And here it is. Without emotion, it's like, here it is. And then they wonder why everybody gets pissed off at them, is because they just, here it is, kind of thing. Even though if you do it to them, they can get very, very upset. So we're dealing with the king. The king is a ruler, and he's coming to his subjects. And you can look at the king too as let's say it's the president or prime minister or leader of a country. They have to be objective with what they're doing. They have to come in to a situation unemotional. They cannot have attachments. So when they come in, so this is why, and here this might be a trigger for some people. This is why Trump pissed people off. He was unemotional with what he said. Why? He's a Gemini. A double Gemini, I think, at that. Same with Russell Brand. I mean, plus he's a comedian. So he kind of puts a twist on things as well. But he comes back, here are the facts. This is why he loves debates and come back and let's discuss things kind of thing. So here we have this energy of saying you got to be unemotional. Uranus is unemotional. He's going to tell you the way it is, whether you like it or not. So in getting the information and being unemotional, what do you want to do with it? You got awakening. The Hangman. The Hangman. You got to be objective and you got to step away. You got to step away. Change the way you're looking at the situation. You got to step away and look at things in new ways. You can't be looking at it in the same way. It's like if you do photography, right? You want to get different angles of things. I love it when I see, with photographers and they look up at a building, they're looking up, or they get it just when the sun hits the building at a certain angle. It changes the whole energy of something. So this is the same way within feng shui. So what I'm finding is that switching things around, and it might seem like, oh shit, Why am I switching this around? Why am I, one of the things that Marie said, to face the doors. So I have a doorway over here to my kitchen and a doorway here to my hallway and down to the bedroom. And so I'm facing this way, but it's also facing my energy of wisdom. And I'm sitting in my relationship wealth area over here and my business area. So I'm supposed to be facing that, but it was like, okay, what do I feel better in this direction than I did the other direction. Funny. So taking an objective view. Maybe I'm going to change it in a week. Who knows? But this is where it's a temporary pause in the action. So here we got the King of Winters comes in and says, I need, I got to be unemotional. I got to be fair-minded. I got the knowledge of what it is that I need to do. Maybe I also have to check in with some advisors and make sure that I have all the facts, that I have crossed my T's and dotted my I's. And with that, that brings you into the awakening, brings you into looking at things in a new way. And as you look at things in a new way, it's going to set you into the magician, that you can do anything. The magician comes in and says, okay, you've checked it all. You can do this. It may feel overwhelming. It might feel like it's too much, but this is where you can start looking at things and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take charge of my life. How am I going to take charge of my life? Am I going to wait? I can go in, I'm going to take action and say, hey, why aren't I on the schedule that week? And they'll probably say, well, you asked for this day and that day off, and there's no other places we can schedule you or whatever. I already know what they're going to say, right? I already have the conversation in my head. As soon as I saw it, I knew that's their reasoning for doing it, And so, you know what? That's fine. So this is where I come in and say, how can I take action for myself? How can I make maybe that week could be something that I do that I don't normally do, or something else comes in that week for me to do? Who knows? But I'm going to allow myself to look at things in a new way. And in looking at things in a new way is going to help me to open up opportunities. Same for you. Look at things in a new way. How is this going to open up opportunities for you so that you can be more successful in all that you do? Doesn't matter. It could be paid or unpaid, right? That's the whole thing. It's looking at, I want to be more successful in the things that I do. And with that, that's going to bring you into a positive new direction. So we got a lot of air coming in. We got a lot of air coming in when there is, with fire. So what does air and fire do? When we start pumping in a lot of air into the fire, it allows that fire to grow. So this is where, but it's going to allow the fire to grow to a positive changes, to a place. So our spiritual direction, our spiritual advice card is the positive changes are on the way. So welcome it. Welcome the relief from troubled times. So this is traveling or relocating. And it doesn't, with that, it could be physical or non-physical. Maybe it's a mental way of relocating your brain into thinking things differently. Right? Remember, we have to look at things differently. And sometimes we get hung up on things being the same way or looking at things in the same way all the time. I got chocolate in my coffee, so it's really good. And that's what I was doing, is playing with the chocolate. Just thought I'd share that with you. So what are ways that you can take action in your life, look at things in a new way? So it's going to allow for you, and these are two major arcanas. So that means this is like, wake the fuck up. This is what it is. This is an awakening time. This is a time of really setting forth the challenges in your life of what it is that you want to create. This isn't, and this isn't adding something new. Maybe this is looking at what is going on in your life right now. What are the challenges? And it's not throwing it out. It is saying, these are the challenges that I know I have to do and I have to work on. And maybe they're boring. Maybe you don't feel inspired and you're just like, oh yeah, I know I got to do this shit. It's just like, oh, it's so much work. So changing your idea about that work, and how you look at it. It's like, let's say you haven't done your taxes yet. If you haven't done your taxes yet, and you've been procrastinating and procrastinating, oh, I hate doing my taxes. My taxes are stupid. This is so much work. I am blah. I hate the government. So those are all your excuses. How can you turn around and make it fun? Well, maybe it's time to go through all those receipts and see all the fun things you did in order to get what you got with those receipts. Wow. Maybe you have a travel log that you have to look at the gas, or maybe it's like, wow, yeah, I really worked hard on this project and it earned me X amount of dollars and this is what came out of it. So looking at the positive in it and then sorting through it that way and then creating it. So this is where we start to take things and look at things in a new way. And as we look at things in a new way, we start to really begin to move in a more positive way, in a positive action way. And with it, this is the other part of it, is that you don't want to get trapped in your ego. You don't want to get trapped into things. So if you're not doing this is what's going to happen. This is the opposite side. So this is where placing too much importance on material items, getting caught up in the fear and the worry. Very easy to do with this energy. Mercury squaring Mars, Uranus, and the North Node, and Mercury squaring all of that. This can bring up, like, oh my God, crazy anxiety. This can bring up overthinking. This can bring up headaches. This can bring up where you want to get lost in the delusions of everything. So in comes Neptune, because Neptune says, hey, baby, come on over. I can get you lost. But this isn't getting lost in a positive way. This is getting lost in a fear way. This is bringing in the guilt. Like there's that. He's burning the guilt. Look at. So what is it? I love this card. There's so much detailing in this card. The colors. She's holding two scrolls. Right? There's light, there's a fire there, there's a passion that's there. It looks like she's got two different shoes on too. So being prepared. These are the details in the tarot that you start to look at, looking at the different detailing. So being prepared for the change that's happening and not being afraid of the change that's going to be occurring in a world, in a place that feels unstable. So you got to be prepared for it all. You got to be prepared for what is unfolding at this time. And as you do this is going to allow you to find the solutions to your problems. Solutions to your problems. So it's a day that can take you down craziness and get you to a place where you're angry, mad, and upset. If that's where you are, take a moment, take a step back so you can look at things in a brighter, newer way, so you're not getting lost in the crazy bullshit of it all. So there you guys go. Sending you guys out so much love today. I'm going to work on a video again today. I did my Mars one for my shamanic group. I'm going to do my Jupiter one today, so I'm going to work on that. And so learning how to make these movies is something. I'm discovering that I'm very good at collaborating with others. I'm better at collaborating with others and working with others, when it comes to these things, than doing it on my own. But hey, right now, that's the way it is. That's probably because I just would rather somebody else do it for me with this, but that's my to avoid doing shit, right? So guys, I'm going to send you out so much love. My class list will be coming out in August. So it's going to be coming out in the next little while. If there's different classes that you are wanting to take, Journey Club will be coming up in September. We have, this will be the last time I'm teaching a mediumship class. I won't be teaching a mediumship class for a while after this one in September. So this will be the last time I'm teaching the mediumship class. And because I want to start going into a different direction, I want to start going, in the new year. My big plan is I want to start focusing more on meditations in 2023. So, and doing and teaching meditations and astrology. So that's where I want to go and put my energy towards meditations, astrology, shadow work, things like that. So this is going to be the last time I'm teaching that class. My other focus will be bringing in a tarot class. So I'll be teaching tarot because I love to teach tarot. I think that's about it. Other classes, spell casting and stuff like that will probably happen. We'll see how that works out for the fall, and where I can and have the placement with it. So those are some of the classes that are coming in. So take a look if there's any, when I post them, if there's anything there that interests you and that you want to go into. A lot more that I want to start doing, and even with the planets and honing in and getting people to really work with their chart and getting to know how to forecast your weather. I like that. Forecasting your weather. I like that. Thank you. And learning, what do I need to be prepared for in my chart? Not saying that, there are aspects I'm going to say are harder than other aspects. Some things that you need to look at. Sometimes there's health things that are coming up in a person's chart that they need to start looking at more so than they've looked at before. So things along that line. Money-wise, maybe there's things to do with money that's coming up that you have to really take a look at more deeply into your financial affairs, right? So having a look at that. So things like that to really look at. Jupiter is going to be retrograding at the end of the week with this new moon. So we got Jupiter retrograding, and so that could make sudden changes in what you are doing and where you are heading. So take a look at that too, and what house that is. Mine's all has to do with relationships and connections with other people. That's what I'm having to work at. And what are those connections that you have to look at? So, hey. C'est la vie. Let's go on. All right, baby. So if you want to book in. May the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Thank you so much for being a part of my community. Thank you so much for being a part of my life, all of you, and all of you who watch this, watch the replay. As my grandson would say, Mama, you got to tell him, like and subscribe on my YouTube. Go over to my YouTube and like and subscribe on my YouTube and put this out. So have a blessed one, everybody, and we will talk to you in a couple days. All right? Blessed be everybody.